Today on Playmakers, Kansas golf is in full swing and some new hardware has been added to the collection. The NFL draft has everyone talking, and we cover the biggest headlines from last night and our top 5 plays to get you going into the weekend. I'm Lauren Ritchie, your host for today, and welcome back to Playmakers. I hope we aren't sharing this news with you for the first time, but if we are, former Jayhawk and Olympian Sharon Lokedi won the 2026 Boston Marathon with a time of 2:18:51. This wasn't her first time either. She defended her previous title in 2025 and is now a back-to-back Boston Marathon champion. Let's take a look at this year's winning moment.
Yes. Well, one is good and two makes you special. Sharon Lokedi, back-to-back, 129, and now the 130th Boston Marathon belongs to Sharon Lokedi. Sub 219.
Woo, chills. Congratulations, Sharon. You continue to make Jayhawk Nation proud with everything you've accomplished. That's not all the breaking news. Darren Peterson has officially declared for the NFL draft as of this morning. Wishing him the best. Over to the Diamond, a historic Tuesday night at Hoagland Ballpark in front of over 2,600 fans as the number 16 Jayhawks completed a regular season sweep of number 20 Nebraska with a 9-7 win. They'll take on K-State this weekend in the annual Sunflower Showdown. Gabriel Steigers joins us from Manhattan with more on this momentum-boosting team. Gabriel, the guys are on a run, aren't they?
Lauren, the Hawks are on an absolute heater right now. They have won 14 of their last 15 and have now netted 30 victories in 3 consecutive seasons. This weekend, they're here in Manhattan, Kansas at Toyton Family Stadium to try and win their 6th straight Big 12 series in the annual Dillon Sunflower Showdown.
It's a great Kansas State team and obviously an in-state rival, and something we're really looking forward to.
Last season, they swept the Wildcats at home in thrilling fashion. This year, they'll have to take the series on the road, but no worries. They are 5th nationally with 14 road wins.
The Big 12 is an absolute monster this year.
According to the Kansas record books, matchups between the two rivals date back to 1898, with Kansas leading the all-time series 197-189.
I mean, I think for us, it doesn't matter if we were on the top or on the bottom. The process is the same no matter what. And as long as we stick to that, the results will come.
Kansas is atop the Big 12 heading into the weekend and maintain a number 16 national ranking. They are in prime position to make the postseason in back-to-back years for the first time since the 90s.
Yeah, it's been awesome. The energy's at an all-time high, and our motto is just take it pitch by pitch, one at bat at a time, and just try and get the job done, pass the stick to the next guy.
The Jayhawks are 24-0 this year when leading after the 6th inning, and they boast 20 comeback victories in the year 2026. The key this weekend against K-State is take the lead early, but even if they can't, the Hawks are never out of it. For Playmakers here in Manhattan, I'm Gabriel Steigers.
We love each other. We love competing together. I mean, it's a blast being around these guys, getting to the field, waking up every day knowing I'm going to get to be with our brothers, and there's no one else we'd rather fight for a national championship with.
Thank you, Gabriel. I know it's one of the best days on the schedule when 2 Kansas teams battle it out for pride, or should I say, a win. From one hot team to another, the golf teams are wrapping up the regular season and entering the postseason with a lot on the line. Playmakers' Lindsay Ryan is here to fill you in on all the Eagles and birdies.
Let's talk about it, Lauren. If you haven't been paying attention to Kansas golf lately, now's the time to start. The men's team just wrapped up the regular season and they're bringing home some hardware. The Hoosier Collegiate Invitational title belongs to Kansas after a hard-fought, weather-delayed win, finishing 20 over with a score of 872. Senior Luke Honor led the way, finishing tied for second with rounds of 69, 73, and 72. Good for a +1 finish. His second place finish marked his best as a Jayhawk and his first top 5 of the season. He also carded his 8th under par round of the year, opening Saturday with a bogey-free 2 under 69. He was backed up by a strong lineup: freshman Arthur Carlier, senior Will King, junior Will Baker, and sophomore Hartej Graywall. After the win, head coach Jamie Bermel said, "Great team win today. The conditions were not ideal, but I was really proud of the way we battled all weekend." And that momentum couldn't come at a better time, with the Big 12 Championship right around the corner at Prairie Dunes Country Club, April 27th through the 29th. Over on the women's side, they're in the middle of the postseason play right now at the Big 12 Championship. Coming into this week, the team is ranked number 37 and 2 golfers in Scoreboard Rankings Top 100, Lila Lauterbach and Ava Nordstead at 76 and 90. The team has 1 victory under their belt with 3 individual wins that you can see on your screen. Halfway into round 2, the team's in 11th place. Both teams are looking to finish the season strong. Lauren, what are you watching for heading into Big 12 play?
I'll be looking for steady improvement as the postseason is just beginning, and I know their best golf is still ahead. For some other Kansas teams, postseason brings roster movement. If you're out of the loop, Playmakers Zach Newkirk and Ulicia Parker are here to fill you in on some of the changes that you might have missed. Take it away.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, Zach, as sad as I am to say goodbye to this team, the transfer portal doesn't wait for us to mourn. Kansas already has 6 confirmed commits, with 2 of those guys coming from other schools, Keanu Dawes and Leroy Blyden Jr.
That's right, Ulicia. The 2 transfer portal adds that KU has made so far have both looked promising. The first is Keanu Dawes, a 6'9" forward who's transferring in from Utah as a senior. Now, you may remember him from his 22-point performance against KU in Allen Fieldhouse this past season. Dawes averaged 12.5 points last year. The other addition, Leroy Blyden Jr., is a lights-out shooter transferring in from Toledo. He'll be a sophomore and is a small guard that can score from anywhere on the court. He averaged 16 points a game at Toledo, and his shot-making ability will be a huge add-on to the KU lineup.
And we can't forget about our younger guys coming up in this freshman class. The 5-star signees start and end with Mr. 6'7" himself. We all know Taylon Kinney. He's a top 15 recruit nationally, a point guard and a playmaker. Coming from Overtime Elite, this guy is going to be a dominant player in the roster next season. We also have some 4 stars that'll make their impact this season. Luke Barnett, who is dangerous when left open on that catch and shoot. He once knocked down 12 threes in a single game. And a couple of versatile guys down low. We have Trent Perry and Davian Atkins, both big energy guys who will make great additions on defense. Atkins has a nearly 7'3" wingspan that'll be great at protecting that rim and has also improved recently shooting behind the arc. This man will be dangerous to guard. We also have a class of 27 commit, Javon Bardwell, another 5-star, actually looking to reclassify to the class of 26, which would be a huge addition to this younger roster.
Yeah, Ulicia, those recruits are exciting, and while new players are coming in, nearly the whole roster of returners entered the transfer portal. Though lots of players left, KU does have 2 promising freshmen that are returning for their sophomore years. The first is Cole Rosario, who started the year as a starter but didn't play much in conference play. He did have some solid minutes in the tournament and is a very athletic shooting guard who should develop nicely into a key player next year. The other is big man Paul Mbia, who also played some good minutes in the tournament. Paul is a 7-footer, and his size will be much needed on next year's roster.
I'm glad Kansas has some guys returning, but KU scouts aren't done just yet. Of course, the man who can't decide if he wants the K in front or behind the U, Tyron Stokes, is in a back and forth between Kansas and Kentucky. Kansas has been aiming to sign Stokes since the beginning of the season and has been assumed to be the favorite of the 2, but Stokes recently took another visit to Lexington and reportedly had an amazing time, so it really is anyone's game. That commitment should be coming anytime now.
Well, that's all for our recruiting update, but make sure to stay tuned to Playmakers for more updates as they come. Lauren, did you get all that?
Well, there's always a lot of movement this time of the year, and it's hard to stay in the loop, so thanks for keeping us updated. Now, a sport we don't always cover is NASCAR, but Tyler Brewer is changing that. Last weekend, he caught up with Kansas football alumnus TJ Semke.
Thanks, Lauren. NASCAR is one of the most exciting sports to watch, and what these drivers are able to do with their cars is nothing short of amazing. But winning on Sundays requires so much more effort and teamwork than what one person can give. That's where pit crew members like former KU defensive lineman TJ Semke come in. Take a look.
one reason I got into the sport was not just because of, physical attributes or anything like that. A lot of it is who you are, how you treat people in the administration building, how do you treat your tutors, your teachers, your teammates, and that really will carry you a long way.
TJ's been, he's definitely, the life of our team for sure. He's been just a lot of fun to work with. Obviously, he's a tremendous athlete. Like, the dude is just such a beast, just the level of intensity and professionalism, and he wants to be the best. Like, all those characteristics, I think, are extremely crucial to have success, and he brings a lot of them to the table.
However, being on pit road is just as much mental as it is physical.
I'm a big emotional guy. I get really high and I get really low, and I think having a clear head is a huge advantage, in my opinion, when you go over that wall. I think a lot of people tend to fog up their mind, and a lot of their struggles come from between the ears, and that's something I think any athlete fights, or anyone you see get the yips or anything like that. It's obviously not a physical thing, it's a mental thing, and so trying to keep a clear head and just to clear your mind a little bit will help you be successful for sure.
But what traits from football really carry over to NASCAR, and how does someone go from the backfield to the infield?
Yeah, I mean, basically what we're doing out there, it's just super athletic, right? You got to be able to, do the basic, run fast, jump high, be strong, all those kind of things. But more than that, you learn how to be a part of a team. Kansas football is really what ultimately got me into this sport. So forever grateful for them and for the University of Kansas.
Great stuff, Tyler. Always fun to see how Jayhawks continue to make an impact in the sports world. Don't go anywhere. More on Playmakers after the break.
KU supports community, creativity, Kansas. The University of Kansas provides statewide medical outreach, first responder training, cybersecurity protection, childhood development support, and economic gains amounting to over $7 billion every year. Every day, Kansas Jayhawks serve the world by creating a better future. The world is safer, healthier, stronger because of what KU creates.
The Kansas City Royals have announced plans for a brand new stadium in Crown Center. The project is part of a multi-billion-dollar development that will include an entertainment district surrounding the ballpark. If approved and completed on schedule, the new stadium could open by the end of the decade. Last night, the city of Pittsburgh played host to the 2026 NFL Draft. Now, in case you didn't stay awake for it all, like me, it's okay, because that's why we've got wonderful people on Playmakers like Eli Greenwald and Jude Gussie who stayed up and did all the research. Guys, what's going on?
Lauren, we will do our best to give you a quick rundown. Eli and I have each picked what we think are the biggest wins, surprises, and questions moving forward the morning after the first round. Eli, start us off. What's your biggest win?
Yeah, my biggest win of last night in round one, I really, really like what Tampa did at number 15, getting edge rusher out of Miami, Ruben Bain. I don't really understand how he fell all the way to 15. I personally think that he's the best edge rusher in this draft. I understand there's a lot of other guys that went ahead of him that are great. I don't care about the small arms. This guy is going to absolutely terrorize quarterbacks in the National Football League.
Right. Arvell Reese and David Bailey would like to have a word. For me, I had Caleb Downs going to Dallas at 11. Far and away the best safety in this class. He was ranked around the 5 spot on many expert big boards, and he was heavily mocked inside the top 8. Yes, Dallas burned 2 fists to move up 1 spot, but Downs at 11, Dallas fans have to be, Cowboys fans, they got to be ecstatic.
Yeah, that's a really, really good pick, and I personally think he went at 11. The next guy I'm taking for my biggest surprise at number 6 is Mansour Delaney. He's a good player, and the Chiefs got him at 6 out of LSU. I don't hate the pick at all. I think he's a solid player. I just don't really understand why they traded up to get him. I think they could have got him at 9, and personally, I think Caleb Downs is a better player who went at 11.
Right. I mean, the need was there. They parted with 2 all-pro corners. So definitely they're going to need additional help on the boundary. For me, I had Jadarian Price going in the first round. Of course, Kenneth Walker has departed for Kansas City, and Charbonnet, dealing with that ACL injury in the playoffs, is going to be sidelined to start the year. I expected them to take a running back, but I didn't think that it would be this early, especially with their lack of picks. They don't have many picks on day 2 and 3, and they have a lot of needs. You've got guys like Jermon McCoy, Avion Terrell, and Colton Hood, 3 cornerbacks who are very high quality still on the board. That's where I thought they were going to go, so I was a little surprised there.
No, absolutely. Definitely a couple surprises there in that first round.
Now, moving forward, what's your biggest question?
This is a big question I have. Ty Simpson going at number 13 out of Alabama to the Rams. He's a quarterback. And yes, I understand Matthew Stafford's getting old, but the guy's coming off an MVP year. What do you think that says to him, first of all? Maybe he's going to retire soon, but Ty Simpson, really? I mean, I understand it'd be good to get a guy that can maybe learn from Stafford and take over when he's done. But next year's quarterback class is absolutely loaded, and this year's is underwhelming once you get past Fernando Mendoza. So I don't understand what the rush is. Why not just wait a year?
Right, yeah, next year's definitely the year if you're going to go quarterback. Like last year was the year to go if you're going to go running back. Now, my biggest question mark is the rest of the Arizona running back room moving forward. The Cardinals invest heavy draft capital in Jeremiah Love at number 3. Of course, he's extremely talented, so he's going to take up a large portion of the snap share. But what happens to the other 3 guys?
Right.
They're all starting caliber guys: Trey Benson, Tyler Algier, and James Conner. Big question mark moving forward. Now, That's what we've got. Like I mentioned earlier, Lauren, there's a lot of guys available, but what's really stuck out to you so far in this draft?
I think it's time for Kansas City to make another big run, and these new additions could really help make it happen. But that's probably not what you guys wanted to hear as Chiefs fans, but you asked. Now, to a sport that's in season right now, the WNBA has been shooting up the headlines lately. And who better to hand the ball off to than Playmakers' Emily Sutter. Hi, Emily.
Hi, Lauren. We're just on the cusp of the WNBA season, still with 44 games like last year's increase. The Aces are the reigning WNBA champs, marking their 3rd title in 4 seasons. Preseason's over and games are officially starting on May 9th. So let's dig into the action we are anticipating. It's going to be like UConn in 2025 in Dallas because AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers are on the same team after winning the Natty in 2025. The Wings taking on the Fever and facing Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. The Fever made it to the semifinals last year, and the Wings did not make a postseason run. This is the battle of the number 1 picks. You've got Boston and Clark, number 1 in 23 and 24, and Beckers last year. Look out for Kelsey Mitchell too, though. She was 3rd last year in points per game and 3-pointers. One of the other big matchups to start the season off is the Aces and the Mercury, a rematch of the WNBA Finals last year. They'll play each other 4 times this season, and Asia Wilson is all I gotta say. She does it all on offense and defense. She led in points per game last year and blocks and was 2nd in rebounds. But on the Mercury side, Alyssa Thomas dominates in the paint with rebounds and also assists. And with Satu Saboli now in New York, time will tell if the Mercury can get revenge on the Aces. I'd be crazy not to mention Angel Reese, though, heading from Chicago to Atlanta. She's now facing her old team. She's joining Alicia Gray and Brianna Jones, and Reese led the league in rebounds last year with 12. The Sky are going to miss her in the paint for sure, and Camila Cardoso is the only key player that the Sky really has to make any offensive plays happen besides Reese. Now, she hasn't made an impact since being drafted last year, but Haley Van Lith is also a part of the Sky. This 2026 season could be her breakout because we all know how much success she had at TCU. The regular season will be over in September, and then postseason play happens. This season looks to be eventful, and after the new collective bargaining agreement, it's known that these players are truly earning what they're playing for. Lauren, what are you excited for this season?
Emily, how can you not be excited to watch AZ and Paige back on the same court together? It's going to be a great season for the Wings. Now to a sport that's going to bring a lot of hype this summer. The 2026 World Cup is just days away. Here's everything you need to know heading into the big event, brought to you by Playmakers' Jacob Johnson.
Lauren, you're not catching me anywhere near a soccer ball, but for the first time since 1994, the World Cup is back in North America, hosted by the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. As well, for the first time, the tournament will feature 48 teams totaling 104 matches from June to July this summer. Some people may or may not know how this works, so to break it down, 48 teams will compete in group stages, 12 total, with the top 2 teams in each group, as well as the 8 best third-place teams that will compete in a 32-team tournament to ultimately decide a winner that will be crowned in New York City. So with 48 teams, how are we going to figure out who will win the whole thing? Let's look at the favorites. Spain, France, and England are all betting odds favorites. Spain, however, tops them all currently with a solid young core group of talent, and Pedro Gavi and Lamine Yamal have all competed with major teams like FC Barcelona in Spain and are primed to take off against national talent. France, on the other hand, is probably the best player in the world with Kylian Mbappe, who is looking to cement his legacy by reaching a 3rd consecutive final. And while Europe looks strong, you also can't count out the defending champions in South America. Argentina and Messi are still very dangerous teams, as well as Portugal with Ronaldo, who continues to prove that age is just a number when you're chasing pretty much the only trophy you don't have. But what about America? FIFA has the U.S. ranked 14th overall in the tournament, and not a team ranked outside the top 10 has ever won the World Cup. And most people often associate MLS talent with Little League compared to the Premier League in Europe. But Coach Mauricio Pochettino remains optimistic.
believe. When we accept being in charge of the USA men's national team, I think it's because we really believe that we can deliver a very good job and with the possibility always to win, because it's in our mind. Our mindset is to win, is to compete and to win. It's compete. And I think we have a very good athlete, very good players.
For everyone who lives locally, Kansas City will host games at Arrowhead Stadium, the first match being on June 16th, with Algeria taking on Argentina, and Messi, who is going to basically play in our backyard. Lauren?
The World Cup, Kansas City is ready for you, and so am I. Thanks, Jacob. As mentioned earlier in the show, major news surrounding a new stadium for the Kansas City Royals has been announced. If you've been missing some Royals action, that's what we're here for. And who else but Charlie Marshall?
Thank you, Lauren. This year, baseball in Kansas City was supposed to be at an all-time high. The Royals were looked at as serious playoff contenders, a dangerous young team ready to explode. Everyone in Kansas City was already getting flashbacks to 2015. So let's jump to present day, where the Kansas City Royals hold the worst record in Major League Baseball with a crisp 8 wins and 17 losses, and are fresh off losing 9 of their last 10, including an 8-game losing streak. Now I'm about to take you through my 3 strikes on what has gone so terribly wrong in Kansas City. This is about to get ugly. So strike 1, offense with runners in scoring position. The Kansas City Royals currently hold a .203 batting average with runners in scoring position. That puts them 29th in all of baseball. Just this past week, the Royals set a franchise record by going on an 0-for-32 streak with runners in scoring position. For example, this past Monday, the Royals took on the Baltimore Orioles. The Royals, through 9 innings, gave up just 2 hits, while collecting 11 for themselves. Now, surely this is the game the Royals won, right? Wrong. This is because through 12 innings, they left 16 runners on base. Now, this issue is alarming, but not as scary as strike 2, the bullpen. The Iron Barn in Kansas City has not been off to a hot start, to say kindly. The Royals currently hold the worst bullpen ERA in the majors at 6.6 and the second worst whip at 1.67. Shout out to the White Sox, though, for saving the Royals from being dead last in both. The Royals lost MLB saves leader from last year, Carlos Estevez, to injury in his season debut after he gave up just 6 runs and recording 1 out. His replacement, Lucas Ursig, who has been phenomenal since joining the Royals in 2024, has had 2 of his last 3 outings end in blown saves, where he said he was, quote, atrocious, end quote. The bullpen struggles are absolutely not just on the closers, as they continue to grasp at straws when turning to new faces in the bullpen. Now we're running out of time, so here's strike 3. Management. Between the lack of hitting and the sometimes questionable lineups, hitting coach Alex Zumwalt and manager Matt Cottrell have been under some serious fire as of late. The people want to see the young stars play, and Cottrell prefers his analytical platoons. You mix the public disagreement with the worst record in baseball, and that seat starts to get a little hot for the Royals manager. But look, the boat might be taking on some water in Kansas City, but at the end of the day, the one thing the Royals have on their side is time. Now, Lauren, we have 137 games left, so let's put the jerseys on here. City Connects, whatever we got here, and let's cross our fingers that they can turn this thing around.
That jersey looks good on you, Charlie. Don't worry, because I brought mine too. Stick around, because we've got more coming up after the break.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
Welcome back. It's been a year of highs and lows in sports, but that's sports for you. To save you the emotional roller coaster, we've got a roundtable to break down some of the best KU sports moments we've had from the past year. Let's go over to Playmakers Kay Spears, Emma Noble, and Emma Hale.
Thank you so much, Lauren Ritchie. Emma Hale and Kay Spears joined alongside me for this week's roundtable. I'm Emma Noble. Guys, we are almost done with this year. We have one final show after this.
It's crazy.
So sad.
Time flies by when you're having fun.
I don't know, it went away in a blink. And to celebrate this amazing year we've had on Playmakers and Kansas athletics as a whole, we're going to take a little trip down memory lane. We are all going to bring a pick for our viewers of our favorite KU sports moments of this season.
Tons of them.
Tons of them. It's going to be hard to choose.
It was hard to choose.
Yep.
Lots of players of the year,
yes.
Lots of All-Americans. Emma Hale, please enlighten me on your favorite KU sports moment.
Oh, guys. guys, I'm going to take you to Kansas basketball. What an amazing season for them. You know, obviously it sucks that they got out second round against St. John in the tournament. But, I mean, an incredible year. You know, kind of got a glimpse of maybe those earlier Bill Self teams that we have been missing. But I'm going to take you kind of earlier back in the season when we played NC State. Melvin Council Jr., guys, in this game. He led Kansas to win 77 to 76 over NC State. But that's just not even the main focus of this game. He had a career high of 36 points, went 9 for 15 behind the three-point line. And you know why?
Can you do that?
Maybe on a good day.
Maybe. Hey, maybe. But Melvin, he
sure can.
He sure can. They were face guarding Darren the entire time, which was a lot of teams' strategic defensive plan going to play Kansas basketball. And Melvin, he said, "Y'all, you aren't gonna guard me. Well, watch me shoot from the behind the 3-point line. Career high." I mean, just a tried and true Jayhawk all around. What a snag he was from the portal for Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks.
I mean, you talk about a momentum shift on the season. Whenever we're looking, we want a team, you know, I know we've been here for the past 2 years, and some of the teams, people have felt like they haven't been gutty in. To go into NC State and to pull out a win like that, I mean, that was just, that was incredible.
Case, I know you're a big basketball fan, but you got to choose. What's your favorite KU sports moment of this year?
Yeah, I mean, I am a big basketball fan, but it is that time of the year. I mean, come on, KU baseball.
Crank the hot.
Being down by 3 in the bottom of the 9th and hitting 4 consecutive home runs.
How can you not choose
Are
that?
you kidding me?
Right, it's insane.
Not even to mention the expectations of the season overall. I mean, last year, KU baseball was one of the best teams in the conference, and a lot of the players decided to leave, hit the transfer portal, and Dan Fitzgerald comes out with a whole new team full of different JUCO recruits across the boards and turns them into Big 12 players of the week. Tyson LeBlanc. I mean, you just have to give credit where credit is due.
So many accolades for them. I mean, won 14 out of their last 15 games, sweep over number 20 Nebraska this past week. Crowd record set.
I mean,
at
11-game win streak, sweeping UCF. What can you say?
We could talk about Kansas baseball
gosh.
for the rest of
We
this
could go
roundtable.
on and on.
But for my pick, I'm going to take it back to the fall semester, okay? Out of spring sports, Kansas soccer with their Sweet 16 appearance, 3rd time ever in program history back in 2025 of this year. I think that this whole soccer team has something to fight for, and they're always wanting something more, and it was super prevalent in this season. Nate Lee has been a crucial part of this team's momentum in all of their regular season games, but especially with their postseason pushes. Okay, we saw them win Big 12 champion last year. They fell short against TCU this year, weren't able to take that top spot, but didn't slow them down at all. And the year before, when they were Big 12 champions, they unfortunately fell out in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Sweet 16 this year. How can you not be proud about those women's soccer players?
I mean, he's such a young coach, and you know, we've seen different sports teams try to go after these young talents. You know, you want the players to connect
100%.
with the team, and I think Nate Lee does that exceptionally well. With
And lucky for Kansas, they just signed a 5-year extension with the coach. Congratulations,
Very
Nate Lee.
deserving.
We're looking forward to it. Those are our best KU sports moments. So many more we could have talked about. Lauren, Richie, please give me one of yours.
Great picks, guys. I'm going back to February 9th. It was Big Monday inside Allen Fieldhouse when the Jayhawks took down the #1 Arizona Wildcats. That night is forever engraved in me. I can still hear the crowd when I think about that night. Over to two people who may never stop talking. Playmakers Emmett Swinside and Colton Kinnan, I'm talking about you guys. But hey, it's a debate. Let's hear who they, emphasis on they, believe the best NBA player is to never have won a ring.
Well, it's playoff season in the NBA, and in just a few weeks, one team will be raising the trophy at the end of the year. But as we all know, the best team and player doesn't always win, because throughout NBA history, there have been some all-time great players who never got that moment, never won a ring. So the question is, who is the greatest player of all time to never win a championship? Now, there are a lot of directions you could go with this, but Emmett, I'm going to toss it to you. Who is your guy?
Thank you, Colton. This one was a no-brainer to me. Allen Iverson is the greatest player to never win a ring. I mean, when you look at this guy's career, you'd think a few rings would be added to it. 4-time NBA scoring champion, 3-time NBA steals leader, MVP, Rookie of the Year, 11-time All-Star, led the Philadelphia 76ers to a finals in 2001, career average of 26.7 points per game, which is one of the highest in NBA history. I mean, I don't think there can really be a debate, but I'm curious to see who your pick is.
Those are some huge stats right there. 26.7 points a game. How about a guy who's led the NBA in scoring 3 times in a row, finished top 3 in MVP times 3 times, should have won the MVP twice, once in 2019 and should have won in 2018 as well. And a guy who averaged 36.9 points a game, James Harden, the best player who's never won a ring, and he's going to get one this year, so this won't even be a debate in a couple of months.
So why are we having this? He's the best player to never win a ring, but he's still in the league? That shouldn't even be a thing. It should be a list of everyone that's had a great playoff career or NBA career that is out of the league. There's no way you can say James Harden right now.
Well, he's already had a better career than Allen Iverson just from the longevity standpoint. Made the playoffs every year he's been in the league. 17
and what has he done? How many rings does he have?
Well, hey, Allen Iverson doesn't have any rings either. Yeah.
Lost to Kobe and Jordan. Who did you lose to?
Oh, Harden
or
only
Kobe
lost.
and Shaq. Who did you lose?
Yeah, you're right. Harden only lost to the best team of all time in 7 games. Took the Golden State Warriors in 2018 to 7 games, averaging 33 points a game that series, and his second best player got hurt in Chris Paul. So Harden was carrying that team.
You could have picked CP3 for this, but not Harden. I don't see the Harden. I still don't get it. I'll let you, if you have more to say, by any means, prove it. But I don't see how you can debate someone. Like, now, has he had a great career? Yes, he's a great scorer, but it hasn't led to anything. He hasn't won.
Neither has Allen Iverson. He has all the accolades, 6th Man of the Year, MVP, All-Star Game MVP. Will be a future Hall of Famer. Everywhere he's gone, he's made a player better too. When he went to the 76ers, Joel Embiid won MVP. Same thing this year with Donovan Mitchell.
You can say that for a ton of different players. Lonzo Ball makes better players around him.
You know, there's a lot of different directions you could go with this. There's a bunch of players who have not won a championship. Lauren, do you think?
Gosh, who do I think the best player is to never have won? Oh, I got it. Luka Doncic. Y'all just wait. I'm calling it now. As we come to the end of our show, we can't end without my favorite segment, the top 5 plays of the week. And Playmakers Ben Voskov, I know you've been cooking in the lab, pulling the best ones from this week, so the floor is yours.
That is right. Thank you, Lauren. So we all know top 5 plays is secretly the backbone of this show. So let's get right into it. Starting at number 5, we have some MLS action. Toronto FC in the Philadelphia Union. Toronto down by 1 goal in extra minutes. And what was that? A header by a goalie? Luka Gavrin, who is 6'6", and he used all of his height right there to get a goalie goal. That is incredible. Shipping up to Boston for a first-round playoff NBA matchup, 76ers Celtics. Jaylen Brown with the slam dunk. Oh my gosh, staring him down at the end. The one caveat is he got a technical foul for that. Celtics up, tied 1-1 series. Now on to number 3 for some playoff hockey action. The Ottawa Senators versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Game 2. Linus Ullmark with the nut save. Watch this. Oh my gosh. Turning his head at the right moment for a ridiculous save. Carolina leads the series 2-0. At number 4, hopping over the pond to New Zealand. Chiefs versus Hurricanes rugby in the 71st minute. Down by 7. Leroy Carter with the nuts lateral. Look at that play right there to Daniel Rona to tie the game one more time. Oh my gosh. And at number 1, St. Mary's Gonzaga baseball. Tanner Griffith takes a shot. Going, robbed. Look at that shot right there. He got so high off the ground. That is nuts. He looks like a bunny. Now, only if the pros could do that. That would be ridiculous. Now, that's all I got for this week. Lauren, what was your favorite play?
Ben, can we agree that I could get that high too if I tried to rob a home run? That play isn't just the play of the week. That might be the play of the century because, wow, I'll be looking back at that play for years. It might even be me you see on your screen in the coming years. Hi, future Lauren, when you're watching this back. That's all for this week's edition of Playmakers. Be sure to follow us on social media at PlaymakersKU to find all our content on the sports world as we see it. Stay tuned for KUJH on Thursdays and run it back on Monday afternoons for all the game results happening over the weekend. Playmakers will be back here live in the studio next Friday for one last time. And remember, it's not about the game you played, but the plays you made. Rock chalk, and we will see you next time.